Hi, and welcome back. This is part 3 of my videos here. I showed a video the other day about how to apply static grass. I kind of jumped ahead of how I got to that point, but I had a lot of people wanting to know how to do the static grass, so I showed that little video. Now I'm going to explain how I got to this point of the static grass. I like to use the foam board here, the insulation board. You can use any color, blue, pink, green. I just happened to find this in a dumpster at a construction site, jumped out of my truck, threw it in the back, and voila, I had a good sized piece that I can do some work with. You might also hear the term the landscaping instead of the scenery. I'm a landscaper by trade, and I'm also a farmer. So if you hear the term landscaping, I'm meaning all of the scenery on the layout here. Anyway, how I get to this point is I have the foam board here, and let me get a piece of foam. And I have this device right here that actually cuts the foam into any shape that I want. It's a hot wire. You plug it in and you just can shape that piece any way that you want. If you didn't like what you just done, you just cut it off and shape it back to the way that you want it. And you can just do it however. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's your layout. You do it the way that you want it to be done, not the way someone else is doing it. I'm just here sharing my information that I've learned from Facebook, YouTube, and from other model railroaders, and took all those ideas and kind of worked it into my own. So there's really no set way of doing this. I'm just giving you a little advice that I have, and hopefully it'll help you out maybe on one little project or something. If not, that's okay. But there's no right or wrong way here. But I like using, for this here, I discovered this about a year ago. I don't like using the plaster cloth and plaster, because once you put that plaster cloth down, even if you've got it colored, you've got a mess. You know, and then if you made a mistake, you got to cut it off and it crumbles everywhere. You got to get the vacuum out. You got white dust everywhere or whatever, and it just can be a disaster sometimes. So I've discovered this product called Fusion Fiber. And this stuff, in my mind, not everyone may like it, but I love it. This stuff is the berries. This has been down for over 24 hours right here. It is still wet. I can still move this around like this. And so I can put it back. If you happen to be working here on it and your phone rings, you're sitting here and you're putting some of this stuff on. And your phone rings and you run away for 3 hours. You come back, chances are it's still going to be just like this, that you can just go ahead, come back. If it's not, spray a little water on it and it'll bring it back. This stuff is white cotton with fibers and glue in it. So it sticks, it adheres. You don't have to put any glue down to hold this on, but you just you mix it up in a container, and I mix it up in big container, and if I don't use it for a while, it's okay. Just add some water to it and it's ready to go. So you don't, there's no hurry up and get it done in 5 minutes before it dries up on you. You can move it around. If you find out, like I said, you don't like something, oh, I don't want that, you just move it clear out of the way. See, you even got the landscaping there that comes with it. That's fine. I'm not going to do this whole rock, or hill here, I mean not rock, hill. I'm just here to kind of show you this and how I got to the point of the static grass. So, I would put this on like so, and then once I say I had this all done, I'm doing a fall scene across my train layout here. My whole layout is just a flat sheet of plywood. It's 27 feet by 34 feet long. And it's just a flat sheets of plywood all over. And I got tired of that, just the flat. I wanted some terrain in here. So I'm not going to redo my whole layout just to do that. So I'm adding these pieces of foam board around in different places, and I can give the effect of what I feel three-dimensional, give it a little bit of feel here and texture. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to be tearing out a lot of my landscaping and starting over, but I don't have a lot of it that's not even started. I've been doing this for 17 years on this layout, and I'm a long way from being done. Anyway, I like to use the brands that I use are Scenic Express and Woodland Scenics. Now I know there's other ones out there. These are just what I use. No right or wrong. You can use whatever you want. But I like to take the turf mix, which is the real fine, and usually when you get them in these containers, they're too bright. Grass is not the brilliant greens that you see. Only time you'll see grass that green is in the early spring and you have fertilized it to death and you're mowing it twice a week or 4 times a week. Your grass will be green. During the fall and summer, when the temperatures are hot or drier, grass turns shades. It changes. So I like to tone it down with the browns, the blacks, the burnt grasses, custom blend my own. Don't be afraid to make your own. There's no right or wrong here. So then I take this and I'll just sprinkle this on top. I'm just going to do a little bit. I just sprinkle this on top. And because, like I said, it's got glue in it, this stuff is, you can just kind of pat this down. You don't need to put glue on it right now because it's just going to hold right there. Then I like to come back in again with Scenic Express or Woodland Scenics ground foam again and bring in the coarse turf. And I like using the burnt turf a lot, burnt grasses. And so I will just put this on the top. Now why I'm doing this before I put the static grass on is this is going to give it a little bit of texture when the static grass goes on to give it a little more clumpiness. Taller grasses, shorter grasses, it's going to give it a little better effect than just going straight. You can go just straight over it without doing this, but I like to do it this way. This is just my way of doing it. And again, I'm not trying to tell anyone you have to do it this way. Well now, once you have that done, you need to put glue on it. Well, you can spray glue or you can take just the glue bottle. I use Elmer's glue, 50-50 glue, 50% water, and you can just put it on here. Now, the problem that you're going to see is it just kind of beads up. I mean, it'll go in, but it's kind of beading up a little bit. I've discovered if you take a solution of about 50% rubbing alcohol, this one is 70%, but I've watered it down. And if you just spray that on this, just kind of get it a little bit wet, you don't have to be soaked, and then you come in with your spray glue bottle or the glue like I'm using, it'll just soak right in without running and gobbing and dragging your landscaping all over the place. So you just glue this down like so. I'm going to go ahead and do another thing of the static grass in case you didn't catch the last video, because it was only like a little 3-minute video. It was my first one I ever done. So again, you have to have this nail stuck in order to create the electrical charge, because that's how the static grass is done, is through the electrical charge, and it creates static. And then there's this alligator clip that you have to clamp to the nail. And then this knock, this is the brand I use. There is all kinds of them. This isn't the only one. And again, I custom blend my own static grass to the colors I want. There's all colors. And these are 2mm lengths. There's different lengths. These are 2mm. There's an on-off switch. You flip it on. There's a little light that comes on. You just hold this thing up here and you just, I like to shake it. And you just do it until you get it to the consistency that you'd like to have. And then you just take that off. And let me grab this here camera and let's see if we can kind of zoom in just a little bit on this static grass here. And you can see how it stands up. Okay? And that is caused by the electrical charge that has done. But you see these tufts or these clumps I put in, it gives it like it's different heights and different weeds are growing. Now you may also notice that I've got the grass up on the track and stuff here. You can vacuum that off. The smart way to do that is to put a piece of paper down so it doesn't get onto there. As long as the ballast is not wet or glued, it will not stick to it. But if you're doing your ballast and scenery at the same time and you don't cover up this, you have static grass that is now going to be all over. Unless that's how you want it, it's going to be all over. Bear with me as I put this thing back up here. So, with that said, you would continue to do this here, get it to the way that you like, and then I come back in with some more ground foam and put on the top here, like so, just the different ones, just to give it a little bit more, like there's some undergrowth sticking out above the grasses and stuff. Because like I said, this is going to be a lot of vegetation here, so it's really going to get a lot of stuff on it. And then I like to come back in with the burnt grass fine turf again and go over it and just sprinkle a little bit on here. It kind of tones it down. Now, I'm going to make another video here in a couple of days on putting the scrub brush in and trees, the type of trees that I use. So for now, this is all that I'm showing on this video. I hope you get some use out of it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching.